We're back at the Harteis Ranch, and this week, Freddy is hosting dear friends Jeff and Rob. With elk and deer tags in hand, can they keep their eye on the prize? Watch as they pursue a couple of giant muleys and elk.
The Harteis Ranch is my pride and joy, and I love nothing more than being able to spend time with great friends and clients that have a thrill in hunting elk and deer. We have some world-class animals, great experiences, great guides, great cabins. Everything's kind of set to par. This week, we have some characters. We have Mr. Rob, who's going to be hunting with us, and then Mr. Jeff. And these two guys, they'll steal the show. So I had a privilege to meet Jeff and Rob about 3 years ago. We all think alike, we all are very driven. That's kind of how we connected, and from there we're all big hunters, so I said, hey boys, why don't you come out and do a hunt with me on the ranch? So I was excited because I was going to be able to take Jeff out firsthand, and I was going to put Rob with Steve, and knew that it was just going to be a matter of time and we were going to have some big elk on the ground.
My name is Jeff Muley. I'm from the East Coast, Pennsylvania area. We got an opportunity to meet a couple years ago. Freddie invited me out here to elk hunt. Just the whole place was a fantastic operation. The Hollywood Hunter is just fantastic. We watch the show all the time. My son loves the show. Just the amount of work, preparation, and effort that takes place to put these hunting shows together, you know, for entertainment for other folks. It's a tremendous amount of work. And I can tell you, not only Freddie, but the cameraman and the rest of the team's attention to detail is phenomenal. We traveled throughout the property searching for an elk.
These guys were hunting elk and deer. The elk are a lot more difficult to hunt, so we go after them first until we get that done, and then we typically go after the deer. I was dragging Jeff up a big hill looking into this bull area, and he had no problem keeping up.
I knew as we started to approach that mountain that this could be a journey. Freddie is like a marathon runner, and he's like 170 pounds soaking wet, and I'm thinking, oh brother, here we go. Freddie thinks he's running in the Olympics or something.
We get up to the top, and before you know it, there were elk all over the place. We were just trying to figure out, okay, what do we need to do from here, and lay our eyes on these different bulls. We didn't want to rush the situation, but we were very in tune and very excited knowing that it was going to come together.
The ranch, they're very receptive to everybody. The service at the ranch is fantastic. Obviously the scenery that's here is phenomenal. The wildlife and their approach on how they manage the wildlife here, as well as how they approach the hunt, is fabulous as well. Well-trained staff here. They know how to approach the property, and that's very important. As elusive as elk are, it's very important.
For the first day, we're out scouting, and it was fun to be able to put eyes on so many different animals and for them to get excited every time they saw something new, and just that thrill of the hunt was really, really prime. Whoa! Now you have Steve and Rob out on the hunt.
I'm here on the ranch with a couple buddies, the Harteis crew, and a bunch of elk and mule deer. I found out about the Harteis Ranch through Jeff. Just couldn't believe the way that this lodge sits in this valley among two huge mountains, and just the sheer beauty with wildlife just running all over the place. I've done lots of different hunting trips on my own, and nothing is compared to my experience that I've had here.
I hope that Steve can keep Rob focused.
Get up over the mountain and We were probably 150 yards into the open country and found out that, hey, there's a great herd of elk. We crawled into position, dragging our guns, camera, binoc, whatever. We got into a position, many elk. We probably saw over 20 elk.
Badlands. It's all in the approach. Bear Archery. Walk among legends. Cherokee Sports. Solutions for the sportsman.
Legendary Arms Works. Live legendary.
Raptor Razor takes field dressing to a whole new level. Visit RaptorRazor.com.
Keystone Sporting Arms. Home of the Cricket, Chipmunk, and the new 722.
Arms Score Ammo. Right on target, right on the price. Hollywood Hunter is also brought to you by these fine sponsors. Jeff's got a big bull elk in his sights. The hunt is in full swing to bag an elk and a mule deer. Can Jeff stay calm under the pressure? Let's find out.
Get up over the mountain, and we were probably 150 yards into the open country and found out that, hey, there's a great herd of elk. The elk were low initially.
One of my favorite areas, the bull area. Stuck right up over this hill. Having trouble getting the gun high enough. Feeling comfortable.
I was in a position that was very awkward, and all I had was my short shooting sticks. I didn't have long shooting sticks or bipods. I had a decent opportunity. I didn't feel that it was an elk that I wanted to take.
We put a big bull in front of him, and for some reason he couldn't make the shot come together. We were beating on him so hard and nipping at him. Even Daniel behind the camera was pushing him as far as he could. So it was fun. We had a good time.
Would have been practically impossible for me to make a shot, so we got out of town.
We just knew it was a matter of time before he was going to jerk that trigger and hit something.
So I called off the shot. Can't rush good opportunities because they become bad. We know where these elk are. We're going to really work hard to get on them again here tonight.
I know there was going to be opportunities, whether it was that same day or 3 days later. I knew there were going to be better opportunities.
We're going to go out this afternoon and get the job done. They've just done so much work around this property as far as trails and the way they manage the property and the whole facility and operations. I don't think you can find a better place in North America.
So we get a text on the phone that Rob had stuck a really good buck. So we head back to the lodge.
Oh, we're just having a lot of fun. I harvested an elk and a mule deer.
Rob was excited. It was a great 4x4 with brow tines, great deer. He couldn't have been more proud. So we decided we're going to take the buggy out and look for some deer.
And now my buddy Jeff, we're working on getting a mule deer.
Elk are always first priority when we do combo hunts because they're a little more difficult to find and get on. Early morning and late evening type of animal, where the deer are kind of out all day long.
I'm not only here to harvest an elk, I had an opportunity to get a mule deer, and one of Freddy's stipulations on the ranch, you have to harvest a mule deer with a bow.
Jeff Mealy owns one of the best whitetail outfits in Iowa called Whitetail Extreme. This guy is a very seasoned hunter. He understands hunting. He runs a first-class operation of his own. So when he come in here and wasn't making the shots, it was because things were not the perfect situation. And he wasn't going to rush something and make it a bad opportunity, which I respect the heck out of.
Now we're in a completely different type of terrain, very rugged, it's very thick. It was a very well thought out stalk up through that canyon to get to the open area.
And in that meadow, we find a really good buck.
Primarily what Freddie would like to have harvested on this hunt is management deer to help weed some of the lesser genetics out of the herd because the breeding season's coming up here very shortly for mule deer.
The management hunts are fun because we're able to bring and knock off some of these deer that need to be taken out of the gene pool. We walk around and sneak around and try to get a shot at them and push them a little bit and get in an opportunity where we get a good shot.
A good mule deer, and it looked like somebody had wounded this deer. And this deer had great genetics, but Freddie was like, look, that deer's been wounded. I'd like to try to harvest that deer. Let's go after it. And part of his management philosophy is to continue to have the genetically superior animals continue to do breeding, to continue to always present an opportunity on big, world-class animals on this ranch. We finally got the animal in a position where we thought we could make a great shot on the animal. So I get in position, I kneel down, I draw back, I get rested onto the animal right where I think I need to be. I release.
Low.
The arrow gets to within 10, 15 yards of the animal, and all of a sudden it just dives. And I'm thinking, what in the world just happened there? Because I didn't see it hit anything. The cameraman was able to slow it down and really look and see what happened. And I hit a limb probably 10 to 15 yards out in front of the animal.
Jeff throws a great arrow at him, but ends up hitting a limb right in front of the deer and misses the deer, and the deer takes off.
You can be disappointed as a hunter when you have a miss like that, but when you go back and you see that things like that happen, you know, that hit a limb, I would much rather have a completely clean miss than to hit an animal and the animal has to suffer. So the choice to not make a shot or to completely miss a shot is better than the alternative of wounding an animal.
Hey, it happens to the best of us. He did everything he knew to do, and we did the same, but it just didn't end up being a successful hunt for that day. Now we're heading down into one of our deep canyons and have a cabin down there. We hang out until the wind's perfect and blowing in our face, and then we'll work that canyon into these meadows where we know the elk will be hanging out.
Rob is already tagged out with a great elk and a giant muley. And with Jeff missing, the pressure is on to fill his tags with an elk and a mule deer before his time runs out. Go get him.
I am pretty excited because this is the evening of the hunt. We saw a big group of elk that we bumped that were already down here a couple hours ago. So we gave them some time. Wind's blowing right in our face. I think we might even see something bigger. Here we go.
Elk are so elusive to the wind, they pick up your wind, they're going to be gone. So you begin a hunt from the cabin into the evening. You're coming up out of that canyon, you hear the elk bugling and the cows calling, and you know that you're going to step into some action. It's just a matter of whether you get yourself in the right position to make the harvest.
We have the wind in our face, we're sneaking up through these meadows, and all of a sudden we hear one bugling.
Freddy spots a very good bull in that area we were hunting.
We sneak around, get in position, we sit there tight. The bull steps out bugling and running all over the place in front of him. I thought for sure we'd get this elk down.
So we're here, half hour before dark. The wind has been so squirrely. It's been all over, now it's blowing up the canyon. We can't tolerate that, we can't go any further up there, knowing there's elk there. We're gonna blow them out. So we're just trying to play it real cool.
Freddy said, "What do you think of that bull?" I said, "Great bull, but I'm going to decline the bull. I'd like to wait for another one."
We may have to just back down to the cabin, not tomorrow.
Every animal that comes around the corner isn't going to be the trophy, and at times you may get the trophy in front of you, but you've got to be patient, wait for the right shot, and make sure when you do squeeze the trigger that you're being fair to the animal and making a great shot.
Those elk got above us, and we knew they'd be there in the morning. Sleep all day, or would you like to go again? Let's go get over. Yeah, come on. The next day comes, and we're excited. We get out early, right when it's breaking daylight, and we're working our way up the canyon.
I knew that the pressure was starting to build on making a harvest, but again, the experience of hunting in the past was just to kind of continue to be patient and let the professionals keep you in an area that they know the elk were. We were able to see some elk at quite a distance. We didn't have a great vantage point, so our option was to crawl to get to a vantage point. We're lugging our gear, gun, the whole 9 yards. You know, Freddy's crawling up through there like a snake, and myself and the cameraman are crawling up through there.
Well, we get across and come right up over the wind in our face.
He's like a 320.
We make our way up through there. We get into position. I had a tripod set of shooting sticks.
He's really wide.
Two good bulls. The one in the back to me was a better bull. Even though this bull ended up being broke up a little bit, he had much more mass, he had better overall beam length, and I had the one bull in my scope for a while that was forward of him.
He's too far.
I ended up passing on the shot. I didn't feel comfortable with the shot.
These elk are moving across the meadow, and we're just staying back, trying to keep the wind in our favor and trying to stay patient.
All of a sudden, all these elk are out in front of us, and all of a sudden they just blow out of there.
We just had a few bulls, a bunch of cows right above us, about 350 yards. And for some reason, they all bolted. I know they didn't wind us. Went right in our face. Pulled them out in the best spot. And then we come back out.
They turn around and they go running back into the timber. How did that happen? We weren't moving. The wind was in our face. Everything that we were doing seemed to be correct. We started to lose light pretty quickly. We knew that we were going to get back in a position somewhere in that general area the next morning. We went back down to the cabin that evening with a lot of anticipation for the following morning.
Wow, what a night.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was nuts. What would you think of that big bull that's busted up? He's pretty awesome, isn't he?
I'd be half tempted to shoot him. We're actually getting much more comfortable together as a team to try to get this, to harvest this great animal. We get up, and myself and the cameraman and Freddie, again, we have a lot of anticipation from how we closed the evening out before. I said, I get a good bull in front of me today. I'm going to take the shot. And we knew we had quite a trek in front of us. We didn't hear any bugling. We heard no cow calls. So we had all this anticipation, but we knew we had to get into this area and see what developed. We just continued to go, go, go.
See him?
We finally heard an elk bugle. That's when it kind of exploded. Freddie's motioning to me, we got to move. I'm motioning to the cameraman, we got to move. And boom, the bull is right there.
And sure enough, it's the bull that he saw the night before.
The bull is 110 yards from us.
There is that bull standing there 100 yards away. And I'm like, Jeff, come on, come on, come on.
Badlands. It's all in the approach. Bear Archery. Walk among legends.
To book your next world-class adventure, contact International Trophy Outfitters.
Trophy Ridge Sights. The fierce science of dead certain accuracy.
Blind Turtle, the best in high-value hunting blinds.
Ripcord Ace, the #1 fall-away arrow rest. Buck Forage, the preferred forage for wildlife.
Hollywood Hunter is also brought to you by these fine sponsors.
Elk in sight and the pressure is high. Jeff has one last chance to bag an animal, and the time is now. Will he come home with some elk burger? Go, Jeff, go!
We finally heard an elk bugle. That's when it kind of exploded.
And he comes and he gets set up.
That's what you're gonna shoot.
We just continued to go, go, go. The bull is 110 yards from us.
That bull had a little bit of a broken frame to him, but really a ton of character, great elk and big bases, really good mass. And I'm like, Jeff, come on, come on, come on.
It had to be a standing shot. It just so happened that the stump that we went to was about 4 foot above the ground. I'm up, I'm in position, I'm shooting a muzzleloader, so it's a one-shot deal. The animal starts to bugle. The cows are looking right dead at us. The cameraman's trying to get postured to get the right shot. I looked at Freddie, he looked at me, we got to make this shot.
Before you know it, that bull comes around and turns broadside and...
All right, shoot him.
Oh, he hits him with that muzzleloader and just cracks him.
It was a great bull. It was a bull that I had seen the evening before that I really, really wanted to harvest.
Good job, bro.
Yeah. We had 2 of his points on the one side broken off right where they hit the main beam. Real dark antlers, real dark big animal. Just a beautiful animal.
Thanks, brother.
Trapper, that's a big bull. Great eye guards.
Just a beautiful animal. Let me tell you, your animals, your management, the whole experience here is phenomenal. Thank you. You guys are top notch, man.
It's a great bull, just a scrapper, one we'll remember forever.
My experience here with Freddie and the whole staff, I've been to other outfitters throughout the world, and this place is top of the list. Freddie is very, very interested in you having a satisfying experience. And that's really what it boils down to here, whether you harvest an animal or not.
My name's Jamie Hess from Pennsylvania.
We need to get him a buck, so we're after it. We see one up the hill. We know it's not going to be easy to close the distance.
Yeah, I don't want to shoot through all that grass. Can you get in there? I don't know if you can shoot through there or not. This shit's too high.
We're trying to cut an angle on this deer without him knowing we're there. I knew it wasn't a sure bet, but we were going to give her a go. I said, bro, you're going to need to make this shot.
Yep, right there.
turns broadside. I draw.
He shoots.
It was a good hit. I seen the arrow go, and it took off. Walked up to where we shot, and wasn't but 30 feet, and we seen him piled up there.
That is a dandy. And he's significantly bigger than one you shot last year.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
big, forks, heavy, awesome old deer. You made a good stock on him, and you made a one-shot kill. Good job, buddy.
I'll tell you how much I appreciate getting the opportunity at this.
You kind of like this place, don't you, Davey?
Don't tell anybody.
Good job,
Good job, buddy.
I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity to come out here and experience what we did this past week. Just a great bunch of guys, and we appreciate your hospitality.
They manage the harvest of their animals very well.
I'm so proud of the Harteis Ranch because it started out as one of the worst deer hunting locations I've ever seen. And we built it out over the years with a ton of resources, working with the Buck Forge Oats, working with the Mule Deer Foundation, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, the NRCS, and putting tons of habitat improvements and then managing the herd to it becoming one of the best destinations for trophy mule deer and trophy elk. I don't take that lightly. There are people that say, oh, anyone can do that. That's so easy. Well, if you realize what it took conservation-wise to build that out and the resources and finances to do that, it's not really that easy to do. But we've been able to manage between my father and I to really make this a destination that people love to come to from all over the world.
Closed captioning has been brought to you by Bear Archery.
So it's always a pleasure and a ton of fun having Jeff and Rob together. I look forward to having them back out.
At the end of the day, I may not understand or appreciate all that Freddy does, but it's really inspiring to see someone so committed to respecting the land and creating opportunities for others. There's a learning curve for everyone, but if you're willing and with the Hollywood Hunter beside you, I promise you will make some goals happen.